They told you debt was slavery, but they never told you debt is also a tool. And the one who knows how to discharge and create is the one who becomes the master. Now, every dollar you owe, every bill you sign, every credit line you touch is a part of a two-handed system. One side cancels and one side creates. Now, most people only learn to defend, but the real power comes when you learn to play offense in the same game. Now, before we dive into this video, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. Remember to do your due diligence. Number 2, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tap into the channel. We are on track to exposing the truth about how to become free in this financial game, okay? Now, this is a game that most people don't treat it like it's a game. And this is why you don't have success, because you have to enjoy the process. And I can be honest and say that at some points in my life that I didn't fully enjoy the process, and this is exactly why I didn't reach where I wanted to reach. I reached some success, but was never truly fulfilled. All right. So my job for today, man, is really to break down the mindset that you need to have when you're diving into debt discharge and reaching financial freedom. So make sure you stick around all the way to the end, because we got a lot to talk about. Thank you for watching the video. Let's dive into another one. So let's just talk about the setup and why most people stay trapped, okay? The average person spends life trying to pay off what they never created. They think discharge is failure, not function. It is a natural function to discharge debt. When you are using the dollar, you are discharging debt. When you are, reclaiming your energy, you're discharging your energy from that source and putting it back into yourself. Discharge is deeper than paper, okay? So a lot of people that watch my channel, they are just focused on one hand, the debtor's hand, okay? Getting in debt, discharging debt, and debt being, one of your limitations, okay? So they're writing checks, they're chasing income, and trying to balance what was never in their control. So when it comes to debt, debt is a control mechanism. And most people look at debt as it's a control mechanism, but it's also an opportunity, okay? But most people use it as a control mechanism. Debt controls them. Because you are in debt, you don't feel flexible to invest in yourself. Because you are in debt, you can't even think about doing anything else with your life. Because you're in debt, you have a lot of emotional stress. And stress is something that creates most sicknesses in people. So imagine your debt is actually controlling your health, okay? But the system was built for two operations. You dig what I'm saying? They're built to discharge, the lawful reverse of an obligation, and then it's built for creation. You understand me? The lawful generation of new credit. So you can create credit and you can discharge obligations. Now, I'm going to make the creator scope even bigger, but the aspect of going from a consumer to a creator or a debtor to a creditor. We talk about these themes all the time on this channel. All right. You were trained to spend and you were never taught to issue. You were never taught to form something. And so you live on the wrong side of the balance sheet. And when I'm talking about the balance sheet, I'm talking about that accounting sheet. We already understand that there is a mirror liability that is created when you apply for something. You apply for something, they book it as an asset, and then they create the liability. And then you are on the liability side. You're on the liability of the balance sheet, okay? Working in the liability column instead of operating from the asset side. The way you start to move forward into creation is by simply becoming the creator. Well, how do you create? We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's just talk about the law and the logic behind commerce, okay? Now, in commerce, every obligation has an equal discharge mechanism, okay? So, right off the bat, when I look at UCC 3-603, a tender of payment discharges the obligation when properly made, all right? But there's a hidden clause. Every note, every promise, and every loan is already a form of payments. That's the premise of what I'm talking about in the aspect of discharging. Someone can look at discharge and think that they have to create a new obligation or a new promissory note or a new negotiable instrument. But for the most part, you've already created that form of payment. Okay. So UCC 3-603 is right here. If a tender of payment of an obligation to pay an instrument is made to a person entitled to enforce the instrument and the tender is refused, there is discharge. Okay. To the extent of the amount of tender of the obligation of the endorser or the accommodation party having the right of recourse. All right. Someone said in the chat that your straw man is the monopoly piece. We're going to get to that in a second. Now, let's talk about 3-603. All right. Now, how do I find these laws and these clauses? And why am I even looking at these laws and clauses, even though I'm talking about debt discharge and creation and becoming financially free? Because if you know how to defend yourself, you can start to truly attack back. So let's go to the article 3 under negotiable instruments. And if I scroll all the way down to the one section, so this entire section talks about negotiable instruments. That's one. That's key for one that's trying to understand how to discharge debt. You got to understand these articles here. Okay. So I'm talking about the negotiable instrument article. So when you are in the aspect of trying to understand your promissory note or trying to understand how banks make money, they are exchanging negotiable instruments for money. Okay, so under UCC 3-104, negotiable instrument, it defines a negotiable instrument as an unconditional promise or order to pay a fixed amount of money. Someone said in my comment section, all your videos sound the same. Well, the reason why is because truth is not a persuader, repetition is. So I will constantly repeat this because I know that there's a new person watching this video. I don't make my videos just for you guys. I make my videos to reach new people every single day. So because of that, I have to talk about this stuff here in case someone says, well, what is that? What is going on? This is the foundation of why what I talk about works. Okay. So the note is monetized given the fact that it means an unconditional promise or order to pay a fixed amount of money, which is a security to the bank. A security means money. All right. It's a financial instrument that they can monetize on. All right. This is a negotiable instrument. And I'm going back into that because I haven't talked about it in a long time. So your signature created the value and the bank merely booked the asset that you birthed. So you're both the source and the solution. 6-7. Sorry, I had to do it. So you're the creditor and the debtor in one body. You feel what I'm saying? Now, this is the point of me bringing up negotiable instruments. Now, when you walk into a bank and borrow money, they hand you someone else's deposits. And they create new credit the moment that you sign. All right? Or the other way around. They don't hand you someone else's deposit. They just hand you back your deposit. You get what I'm saying? And then they go and take what should be the fractional deposits that should be loaned out to other people that actually should be paid on a monthly basis. It doesn't. They then go and create more credit the moment another person signs. So it's not even the fact that they are even taking the money, the extra money that they get through fractional banking and then loaning that out. They're just loaning back money that they already booked as an asset because of you. All right. That is creation. The fact that you can create credit because of your promise. And when you look at credit as a monopoly game, then you will understand why it can just be created, because Monopoly is a game. It's not real money, but it does have value in the game of Monopoly. So yes, you can't spend Monopoly dollars outside of Monopoly, but in Monopoly, these dollars are very valuable. So when we say, well, why do you still ask for money and this, that, and the third? Because people's belief in money. People still believe in money. That's the only value to the money. It's the fact that people believe in it. And because it's a huge or a large number of belief in the dollar, that's why it's still valuable. And that's why I and other business owners will still ask for it. This is why the United States and banks and bill collectors still ask for it, because people's belief in it. People believe it more than it not being a value. Okay. Now, obviously, gold, silver, and things of that nature are real lawful money and real value. But that stuff is, you know what I mean? You either have to find it or it's very expensive. Okay. Now, one hand funds the note and then the other hand can cancel it. So you are both the creator and you can nullify and cancel any obligation. Okay. This is why you shouldn't be afraid to get in debt. This is why you shouldn't be afraid to get into an obligation. That's the duality of the commercial matrix. Every transaction is a mirror. Credit on one side, debt on the other. Okay? The question is, which side do you operate from? The system runs on your consent, and the ledgers balance your ignorance. So what side do you operate from, or planning, or want to operate from? Are you looking to operate from the side that's constantly paying people back? Are you looking to operate from a spot that creates it, then creates more with it, and now people pay them for their creation? Think about that for a second. Now, I want to talk about the role and the framework that you got to take, okay? I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to talk about the mindset, because after I tell you guys the framework, I'm going to dive into the mindset. The framework to turning debt into creation is, number one, identify your role, okay? To move from discharge to creation, you must master your position and your structure, okay? So, number one, are you acting as the debtor, the name on the account, or are you acting as the creditor, the living author of the signature? Now, some people may think that in order for you to act as the creditor is by filling out a bunch of paperwork, your UCC1, creating a private trust, reclaiming your status and all of that. And that's when you become the living author of your signature. But what if I told you that you was that right now? What if I told you that all you needed to do was just have that mindset and start maneuvering like that? And then everything will start to fall in place. The paperwork, the documentation, the results that you want, the learning and the lessons that you're going to get in order to become a creator or a creditor, okay? And also at the same time, don't get into things that you are going to feel like a debtor. See, the type of transactions that I get into where I quote unquote have to pay back, and yes, I do pay back debts. You know what I mean? I don't discharge every obligation, okay? That was for a period of time to position me to be able to start creating. It's not something you want to do for the rest of your life. It's something you want to use for strategy, okay? And if you truly want to become successful, okay, and this is beyond, like, obviously in the discharge, you could be successful in discharge, right? But if you truly want to be successful in life, and whatever you deem as success, right? Success like speed, and discharging your debt is not a speedy way to get results. The speedy way is just making the money and using the dollar to pay for it, or taking that debt and now using that debt to create, okay? Instead of creating a layaway system. Move on before I ramble. Then you want to build your commercial entity. You want to operate through a structured vehicle, whether it's going to be an LLC, a trust, or a private association. A lot of people want to create a trust right now, and absolutely create your trust. But if you want to make money, create an LLC. If you want to be less complicated and have the protections that are simple, right? Create an LLC. Some people want to make more money, but they're focused on things that are like end goal, like creating me a trust and a private association. And I want to build a community and I want to do all of this stuff. And I want to give back and do philanthropy and all that. But you have less than $1,000 in your bank account. You're in debt over $10,000 or $20,000 or more. But you want to create a trust. You don't have any assets. You don't have any cash flow. Now, I'm not telling you not to. Still create it. But you're going to build a business that you can grow and create cash flow. Cash flow comes first, and then you buy assets. See, you got the game messed up. You think that assets come first, but it's not even assets. You have to master the flow of money. I hope somebody's hearing me out here, man. Okay? Now, if you create an LLC, trust, private association, you can obviously, especially on the trust side, you can use the instruments more effectively. Okay? You can now receive assets and protect your assets, and you can discharge obligations in law. Okay? Number 3, learn the paper flow. Discharge, lawful tender, set off, or private instrument backed by consideration. And creation is the issuance of notes, credit agreements, or receivables, or revenue. Okay? An offer, all right, that you can create that can bring energy back into you. Number 4, you want to keep the books. Every discharge must be recorded as a reduction of a liability, and every creation must be documented as an asset born from your credit. And number 5, move in honor, no rebellion, no fraud. Just operate lawfully, transparently, and with the comprehension of your capacity. The system respects structure and competence. Well, someone would say, well, it didn't work for me. Well, did you move with structure? Did you move with confidence? Or did you move off of emotion? Okay. Now, I want to talk about the expansion to financial literacy. To go from chasing debt and being in debt to now starting to create, not really being affected by debt. Okay. Debt is not something that controls you. It's something that actually fuels you. All right. Now, once you grab discharge in creation, you stop fearing debt and you start engineering it. You become an engineer of your life. Okay. Because you know, okay, if I put this piece together and I put that piece together, we're going to get this outcome. If I get $1,000 credit card and I invest 500 into something that can make me another 500, now I can then take the 500 that I made, put it back on the credit card and use the 500 again. And I've just made 500 profit, and I can rinse and repeat and do that all over again. You see, I just engineered that equation. Okay. So I'm not afraid of that because I'm always going to find a way to be able to flip it. Okay. To invest back into myself. And if I am not, I will not get in debt for nothing. Okay. Unless it's a credit card and they offer me $10, $20, $50,000 or a charge card, of course I'm gonna take that credit card. My baby, I'll figure it out. You know? Now, you will use discharge to protect your liquidity, managing cash flow, and eliminating those toxic liabilities. You then use creation to build leverage, establishing business credit, lines of credit, and internal financing. You begin to see credit not as a chain, but as a current. You channel it through entities that you control, your businesses, your LLC, your trust, okay? And you multiply what others exhaust, all right? Now, this is when you turn knowledge into leverage. Now you operate like a financial architect. You discharge strategically and you create intentionally. You use the bank's rules to fund your own ecosystem. When someone says, well, I don't like this system. This system is unfair. Well, create your own. You know you have the power to do that. It's not easy, but it is possible if you truly want it. And you don't have to create a whole new government. Okay? You can just create a system in your mind that you favor, because at the end of the day, it's about your perspective. People look at America as the land of the free, the land of opportunity. And you don't look at it like that because you live in America. Okay? Things that were given to us standard at birth, we take for granted, just like our mind. Which is why one of my key philosophies is to master your mind. Because once you master your mind, then everything that I'm talking about will fall into place. It doesn't matter what I am talking about. I can talk about cattling cows and chickens. I don't know if that's the right term for it. As you can see, I'm not an expert. But if you genuinely want to do that, you can create that. And if in your mind, and yes, it's cliche, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish it. But literally it's because your mind creates your reality. You get what I'm saying? If in your reality you believe that you can discharge debt, or in your reality you believe that you can be able to control your energy and make the type of money you want, then it will attract. All right? So use the bank's rules to create your own ecosystem, whether it's going to be a digital brand, a trust structure, or a private credit system. You are no longer a consumer of the economy. You become a producer on your own. Now, before we kind of wrap this up, I kind of want to break down the philosophy of this, okay? And this is the mindset that you need to have in order to truly be the creditor, okay? Before you master the paperwork, you must master the person signing it. Simply yourself. Who are you? Okay? Who you are is a reflection of what you do every single day. What you get back, your relationships, the amount of money that you make, the troubles that you face, the challenges that go on in your life is because of you, okay? So understand who you are and master who you are so that now anything that comes in your way, you know how you move so you can move in the best way that helps you overcome challenges, okay? The system doesn't fear your filings. It fears your discipline. Someone thinks that if I do this paperwork and I reclaim my status, the system is gonna, you know what I mean, be afraid because I'm gonna get $1 million. No, this system is put in place to keep you asleep. And yes, back in 2020, everybody became spiritually awakened. Everybody became woke. Everybody started to open their third eye and all of these things, but they thought that this was about aliens and Anunnaki and flat earth and all of this stuff and just eating right and, you know, but it's really about your awareness and your consciousness. And one thing that the system doesn't want you is to have discipline. They don't want you to be disciplined, because if you are disciplined, that means you're going to be able to accomplish and wake up. So going to the gym every single day makes you realize how powerful you actually are. The fact that you can lift a heavier weight each day, you know that you're visibly getting stronger. Some people think that you get weaker and weaker as you get older, as you grow up. But I don't think that way. I think that as I get older, I'm gonna become stronger, more wiser, more experienced, more powerful. You get what I'm saying? Every time you react, you hand them your energy. Every time you pause, though, you regain control. If you ever taken a step back and paused and looked at your situation and said, okay, bet, what direction should I go? You are now in control, instead of you just moving willy-nilly. You can't operate like a debtor emotionally and expect to move like a creditor commercially. So you cannot get upset that they didn't reply back after a couple of months. You have to figure out what you didn't do to get them to reply. This is the questions you should be asking. You shouldn't be asking, or you shouldn't be asking them why they didn't reply, or even asking me why didn't they reply. Well, you know why they didn't reply. A simple answer. Did you ask them why they didn't reply? No, I was just expecting them to reply. Oh, you was asking for permission. You dig what I'm saying? The power is measured in composure, okay? A calm mind reaches success, okay? A calm mind doesn't waver. You don't chase, you position. You don't argue, you record. And you don't rush, you calculate. Real strength isn't loud, it's silent precision. Even when you look at these videos, I'm not in here screaming, yelling, all that. Sometimes I get a little excited, but we are growing on this channel and I'm being myself, okay? And people can feel that energy in the content. They feel the confidence. And it's almost like I've been here. I've been making content for you guys, but I literally started being consistent at the top of this year. You get what I'm saying? So your emotions are fuel, not guidance. I remember before I started creating content, I used to tell everybody about this stuff that I'm talking about right now. I used to argue with my friends and family about how you can discharge this, that, and the third. And then one day I was like, man, they just not getting it. And I said, you know what? Let me create content and speak to the people that actually want to learn and hear this. And I didn't do it for other people. I literally did it for myself, so I can stay in the environment and I continue to grow myself and challenge and learn more in a field that I am interested in. And then more importantly, reach the people I wanted to reach, okay? I used that emotion as fuel. I could have got upset and quit and say, nobody ever listened to me. Oh, I don't have a voice. Motherfucker, create your own voice, create your own stage. You get what I'm saying? Your patience is proof, not weakness, okay? If you're patient, that means you're confident. Your restraint is your weapon, not a surrender. The world will test you, delay your results, question your logic, provoke your pride. But the one who governs their self governs the system, because you are the system. You are not here to fight chaos. You are here to move through it like it's a law. Because when your inner state is balanced, your outer contracts follow. Man, I really can get deep. And there's so much that I could talk about, but become the producer, okay? Go from being a consumer and start creating, overcoming your fears, and whatever you are fearful of, run towards it. This is a very different video. Yes, we talk about debt discharge, but I'm gonna bring it back so that you guys can actually become free. This is only a piece of the equation. We have so much more to learn, so much more to do, okay? So understand that debt is not the enemy, it's ignorance, okay? Ignorance is not bliss, okay? Especially when you know that being ignorant is the reason why you're in the situation that you're in right now. The power belongs to the people who are structured, who know themselves, the people who trust themselves, believe in themselves. Learn the two hands of finance, the art of discharge, and the science of creation, and you'll never chase money again. If you're done living like a consumer and you're ready to become a creditor, join the Fund Yourself family in school. All right? I think we are like 20 people away from 1,000 members. I wish I had like a clap emoji or a clap sound, but that's a big deal. And I remember starting this when I had 0. Okay? So tap into the school community. The price will go up after 1,000 members. Tap into my one-on-one mentorship down below. The link is in the description. This is for people who want to go a different level. Okay, community for free or $27 a month for free. That's not enough. I need to work with you one-on-one. The application is down below. Okay, thank y'all for watching the video. And if you've gotten this far, comment the word creation down below. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. This video is sponsored by the Fund Yourself Academy. My step-by-step system designed to help you fix your credit, get funding, and build real financial freedom from scratch. If you're tired of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck, this is where it changes. Inside the Academy, I break down everything from consumer law secrets that they don't teach in school to how to remove negative items and boost your score, get access to business funding, and start building multiple income streams online. Whether you're just starting out or ready to level up your game and get the bag, this is your playbook. We've got tools, templates, dispute letters, mentorship calls, private community access, and an exact roadmap I use to leave my 9-to-5 and create time freedom. But only for a limited time, you can get access to the Fund Yourself Academy on a free trial basis for the next 7 days. And then after that, you pay less than $1 a day at $27 a month if you like it. No fluff, just facts and just freedom. Go to thefundyourselfacademy.com or hit the link in the description to join now, because nobody's coming to save you, but you can fund yourself.